How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of one of the largest financial institutions in the world, is talking out of both sides of his mouth. He just talked about Bitcoin in Davos, which is a huge financial summit, and they asked him about Bitcoin. He got really pissed. He talked about it, but he said that's the end of it. That's him being finished talking about Bitcoin on their channel. I want to talk about that, talk about what's happening behind the scenes and why you should actually look a little bit deeper into what's actually happening with Bitcoin right now and what's happening at Blackrock, what's happening at JP Morgan Chase. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you can see future videos just like this one. Also, while you're down there, check out the link to HGAaccess. There you can trade cryptocurrencies on leverage, long or short. You can set it up in just a few minutes. There's no know your customer or KYC, which means you don't have to put in a lot of information. You pretty much just send in your email password, check to make sure that you follow their terms and conditions, and then you can start depositing within a few minutes. And there is a little bonus as well that can go towards fees when you deposit. Everything's laid out really well and really simply on there, and you can trade all different kinds of cryptocurrencies. Now, there's also a link down there to HGAaccess. Been having a lot of people join this recently. This gives you inside information, inside access to what's happening in crypto. Like, we talked to a bunch of different companies, a lot of different companies want to have marketing or want us to invest, and we talk about some of that in there. We're also planning a live stream in the next few days that will be exclusive on HGAaccess. Now, a couple days ago, about a week ago actually now, I talked about how Gary Gensler sounded pissed. He sounded pissed when he gave his statement talking about why they approved the why they approved the Bitcoin ETF. But he did say that unlike valuable metals, that Bitcoin was used primarily for ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and terrorist financing, which we know is not the case. There's a small portion that's used for that stuff, but unlike cash, it's actually trackable. So not many people want to use Bitcoin for that anymore. A lot of people just use cash. Now, today we have JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon, talking about Bitcoin, saying some of the same stuff, but there's more to it. He is changing his tune a bit, but he still sounds pissed. I want to play that, but first of all, let's go into how well these ETFs actually did. This is Eric Balkanis from Bloomberg. He says, let me put into perspective how insane 10 billion in volume is in the first 3 days. There were 500 ETFs launched in 2023. Today, they did a combined 450 million in volume. Everything, all ETFs from 2023. The best one did 45 million. And many have had months to get going. iBit alone is seeing more activity than the entire 2023 freshman class. That puts it into perspective how crazy the trading volume really is right now. Also, we know that there have been net inflows. Even though the price has come down a little bit, we have seen some short-term holders sell and some leverage get flushed out. We still have net inflows of almost $1 billion, $750 million, as a newborn 9 have more than offset the selling of GBTC, which is at about 1.2 billion so far. So a lot of money is flowing out of GBTC, and we knew that was the case because they're keeping their fees high, but it's going into other assets, and we still have net inflows. The 9's $2 billion in AUM and 4.5 billion in organic volume is pretty good for the first 3 days. Percent premium solid as well. So this has been a success. The cool thing about this is, if this continues, even at a lesser rate, there's just going to be a lot of Bitcoin that's bought. And this is without it being like passively bought into by some kind of retirement account. This is just active traders, active buyers buying Bitcoin, getting exposure to Bitcoin. And this is just the first 3 days. And we've had $782 million bought of Bitcoin. That's a huge amount. As time goes on, scarcity will take effect and price will go up. Now, we just had Jamie Dimon talk about Bitcoin, and I want to play this for you and then talk to you about how misleading he's being and how he's talking on both sides of his mouth. Let me play it for you, though, first.
This is the last time I've ever talked about this in CNBC, okay? So help me God. Blockchain is real. It's a technology. We use it. It's going to move money. It's going to move data. It's efficient. We've been talking about that for 12 years, too, and it's very small. Okay, so I think we've wasted too many words in that. Cryptocurrencies, there are two types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and then we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing things.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, sex trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe 50, $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves. So
speculate.
Yeah. Now my last statement, the last time I ever talk about Bitcoin is I defend your right to do Bitcoin. I think, it's okay. I don't want to tell you what to do. So my personal advice would be don't get involved, but I don't want to tell any one of you what to do. It's a free country.
What do you make of BlackRock? What do you make of the other firms, the Blackrocks of the world that obviously, and Larry Fink changed his view of this, obviously.
Yeah.
And maybe he changed his view because you think he genuinely believes in Bitcoin or believed it because he thinks that there's a marketplace for it and he wants to be part of that market. But what do you think of there's about a dozen big financial companies, Fidelity included.
Number one, I don't care. So just please stop talking about this shit. And I don't know what he would say about blockchain versus currencies that do something versus Bitcoin that does nothing. And maybe that's not different than me. But, this is what makes a market. People have opinions.
So a couple important things there. First of all, he's talking out both sides of his mouth. They are an authorized participant, meaning they help with the market making for some of these ETFs. And he says that Bitcoin's only used for sex trafficking, AML fraud, and tax avoidance. He says those are the use cases, yet they are the ones that are market making for these ETFs because they want to make money on it. There are trillions of dollars that are moved every year on the Bitcoin network. And it's not mostly sex trafficking. It's not mostly tax avoidance because all of this is trackable. So I do think that he's talking out of both sides of his mouth there a little bit. He's talking crap about it, but yet they are going and making money on this. They're probably going to make billions and billions of dollars from this. But his tune is changing. It doesn't sound like it at first because he's so annoyed. He's so annoyed to even have to talk about this again. I think he's annoyed because he doesn't want to have to keep on talking about it when they're making money on it. Like, it just is a bad look. But his tone is changing a bit on this. Back in September of 2017, he said, I'd fire any JP Morgan trader caught trading Bitcoin in a second for being stupid. And now he's saying, I defend your right to do Bitcoin. Basically saying people can do whatever they want. They themselves are making money from it, so they have changed their view on it. And he used to say there was essentially like rat poison, like Charlie Munger said, or Warren Buffett, and that he would fire anyone that had anything to do with it. So they are changing a bit on that aspect. They're going to make money from it. They're going to be happy that they got in, and honestly, they should just lean into it. We've seen that over and over with people that have just changed their tunes, whether it's billionaires like Michael Saylor, that have gone all into Bitcoin, or whether it's BlackRock's Larry Fink going from not liking Bitcoin to being okay with Bitcoin to now liking Bitcoin, being an advertiser of Bitcoin. And speaking of BlackRock, BlackRock now holds 16,361 Bitcoin worth over $707 million for their Bitcoin spot ETF. So while other people are worried, while other people are selling, they're selling to BlackRock. Just be careful out there. We've never had a bull market that didn't go above the past bull market. So like if you're selling now at 40,000, 45,000, 50,000, well, you're selling to BlackRock and they're happy to take it off your hands. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Again, you can check out the links to Margex underneath the video where you can trade cryptocurrency, you can trade Bitcoin, you can use different forms of collateral as well. So if you want, you can use USDC or USDT or even Ethereum to trade the Bitcoin chart, which gives you rewards in that native currency, or you can just use Bitcoin. Also, there's that link to HGAccess as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.